Also have exclusive new details on a story that we've been following since last month. Court documents revealing a timeline surrounding a deadly pedestrian crash on Abbey Memorial Drive in Chicopee. Western Mass News reporter Matt Price joins us live with the latest in studio. Matt.
For the first time since this tragedy, we're getting a deeper insight as to what authorities say happened on the night 34-year-old Vanessa Perez was killed. Looking through responding officers' statements, we now know 2 men are facing charges for what went down on Sunday, February 9th. Chicopee police confirming the incident occurred in an area that has a street light and a marked crosswalk. According to court paperwork, sometime after 7 p.m., Vanessa Perez was walking along Abbey Memorial Drive when she was struck by a Ford F-550 plow truck, followed by a second vehicle, a 2015 gray Acura sedan. When it comes to the truck, officers say it belonged to a landscaping company. Documents show the driver that night was Jarameldo Lopez. Authorities say Lopez denied any wrongdoing when approached by Chicopee police and had also denied their request for an interview to tell his side of the story. Upon a search of the truck, investigators found blood under the left side of the plow's blade. Court paperwork then states officers were later advised about the location of the 2015 Acura belonging to Levante Williams. According to a witness at the scene, he saw a driver matching Williams' description in that same car near the parking lot to Zott Park. When police searched the car, documents state there was blood all over the skid plate. The paperwork also states that Williams had called 911 on February 9th, clearly identifying a dead body in the road. Both Williams and Lopez now facing charges of leaving the scene of personal injury and death, while Lopez is also facing a count of negligent operation of a motor vehicle. Western Mass News spoke with some of Perez's family a little over a week ago. Here's how her grandmother remembered her.
Vanessa era tranquila, de verdad era tranquila.
Vanessa was peaceful. She was really very peaceful, respectable, and loved spending time at home. When she was here sometimes, she would like to cook and spend time with the family. Williams will be arraigned on April 8th, while Lopez is set to be arraigned on April 9th. Family members, though, are hoping something is done to make Abbey Memorial Drive safer for drivers and walkers. I was able to speak with Chicopee Mayor John View earlier today. He says he sends his heartfelt condolences to Perez's family and friends. However, he could not give comment at this time about this situation as the investigation remains active. Stick with us both on air and online as we continue to follow the very latest. Reporting live in the studio, Matt Price, Western Mass News.